In this video, we'll see how to add multiple shaders into an object and how to mix them. So first of all, let's have a look on the first shader here. Basically, we'll just create a very simple skin shader, like something like this, with this color without any material. Increase a little the roughness, increase a little the IOR somewhere here, and let's go with something like that. Very simple skin shader material, just something like this. Okay, not that much roughness, maybe 1.2, yeah, something like that. Very simple, nothing crazy. But I would like, and I will call this material shader, and material is exactly the same. So I will try to talk about shaders here. So this one will be monkey skin. And now I would like to add some two new shaders into this object. These shaders will be the eye white and the eye black, let's say. So let's go through this, or maybe we'll have an eye blue as well. So let's go for that. You see that you have the slots here that can manage multiple materials into one object. So I can make a plus and I will have a new slot. Now I can create a new shader, and this shader will be eyes white. Nice one. So we are happy with it, but we cannot see that into our object. So how to see this into our object? We have to assign this into a part, and this it's made only into the edit mode. So let's go into that. Maybe we'll put this into a pure white, decrease the roughness to have something a little shiny like this. And now what I would like is to go in edit mode. And you can see that if I'm not in edit mode here, I will not have the here buttons that are here, the assign and select and deselect. So now I can select the shader that I want and assign it to a selection that I make. So I know that there's eyes with L are something that we can select directly. So I just use this, and now I go into the eyes white and I select assign. And now I will have my new material into the eyes. Very simple, right? So we'll make the same for maybe, yeah, maybe we can make a blue, but with a little modeling. So let's go for that. We can just add a new one, and this one will be blue like this. And it will be eyes blue. A little shiny like this, maybe, yeah, somewhere more here. Okay, and we would like to have the possibility to have more selection possible here. So I will select these two dots, make Control plus to select plus, and with Y I will create a border like this. It will make the possibility to add this here outside, and I can select the inset face with the select outer. So this selection here will be in blue and the middle will be in black. So here I have the basic done, and now I can select the eyes blue and assign it, and now I will have this stuff. Maybe I can decrease a little the IOR to decrease some reflections and increase a little the roughness. Okay, so now we have this. Now I can select the center with Control plus again and create the last one. So it will be a new one again, and I will just create a new one. It will be totally black with a roughness very low, and we will call it eyes black. And now you will have multiple materials just like this. I will assign like this, and now you can see that I have the shaders that are completely separated and well organized. What is good as well is that you can use that in modeling. For example, let's say you would like just to select directly into edit mode. For example, you are in a way you want to select everything that is white. You can come into your white eyes here and select, and you will have this nice selection directly, and you can see that it selects very well what we need. So yeah, very important possibilities here, and you can deselect in case as well. For example, if you select everything and you want to deselect everything that is in the slot 1, you deselect that and you have a new selection that can be interesting in some cases. So yeah, this stuff is very important. Another way of mixing, it's not really mixing shaders if you call this slot a shader, but it's mixing shaders anyway, because for example, if you create two principled here into the monkey skin, let's come back into the monkey skin to work a little with that. And you remember we had this texture here. If I make Control Shift click into it with the node wrangler, I have here a black and white value. So for example, let's create a new principal BSDF by duplicate it. And you will have this kind of stuff like that. Okay, so now if I plug the surface of that one here, I can see that I have the skin shader. Maybe I will just, for the demonstration, make something a little crazy. Let's say I would like to have a painted material, okay, with a roughness here, decrease a little this roughness, okay, and maybe this one will be a little metallic, okay, and maybe we'll add some coat into it to make it more realistic, and maybe we can add some nice sheen into that as well with a blue value and increase the weight of it, okay, to have this kind of nice shader. Okay, look, we have something already interesting. But what you can do is you can create something totally different, like for example, let's say something like with a rust color. Okay, so with this kind of color here, if I control click on it, I can see the result. So I want something with a kind of rusty color like that. Okay, we could add some textures into it and everything, but just for now, just to show you the mixing of these two materials, if I make Control Shift click and Control Shift click like that, I can tell with a node that we didn't see yet into the shader here section, we have a mix shader. And what this mix shader does, it mixes the two shaders. So we can just plug the shader here, plug the shader here, and what we have now, it's when I make Control Shift click on that one, I can just click and drag this one to that one. So very important to have a factor and maybe add some, but what is most important is that you can plug something into this factor. And let's say we take this information here and put it there. So now you have the shader that will be two shaders basically. We have the paint shader and the rust shader, and it's mixed by this color ramp. So it's another way of mixing shaders here, as you can see. So very important to understand that is that all the black and white values will be interesting for mixing stuff in this. So now basically what you have, it's a noise texture that is contrasted with this color ramp value that will mix this shader to this shader and will make something like that. Okay, so can be very interesting to mix shaders as well. So it's not really have multiple shader slots here. In that case, it's just in one shader you can mix stuff with black and white values like that. So very important to understand the system of it too. So that's it for this mixing multiple materials into one object. And it's very two different ways. So in that case, you can not have anything blurry, and you will have the selection in edit mode that will have the same of what you want. For example, let's say here, you see in edit mode, you have this topology. Let's say you will have, you will need something that will make a cut like that between two materials. You cannot do it with the edit mode, it's not possible, or you will have to change the topology. But if you use some textures that will be painted like this, and we will see how to paint textures as well, you can really have interesting stuff like this. So that's why this is a very powerful technique that I had to show you. Now into the next video, we will see how to use texture sets. We see that here we have some really interesting stuff that goes on to have some really more complex material that looks complex, but actually it's not that complex. And I will show you how to make that into the next video.